Hello, people of the internet. I am KaijuNoir.
And I'm Pete.
And this is the beginning of our 2015 season of theatrical movie reviews.
Yay! So not very late, are we?
No, not at all. Well, I don't know. We did see American Sniper, but I think was that early 2015 or 2014? Because we saw it in 15.
Was it in 15?
I think that was 15 that we saw it with Eddie when he was here for a while.
I don't even remember seeing it with him.
Yeah, all three of us. That was like the only movie we saw with him.
Oh God, yeah, that definitely was in the beginning of 2015.
Yeah.
2015. God damn, it's already May.
It's already May, and we're doing our first official review for the year. It's just that we were waiting for something interesting to come out. There was Chappie, but then we saw the reviews and we're like, I don't think so. We did record our best and worst of 2014, but I still have yet to upload it because I was waiting on that title card art that Dylan was supposed to color and trace, but never got around to it. Hopefully, I'll eventually release it later down the line. Now I got
eventually by 2016, right?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll have best and worst of 2014 and 15.
Okay.
Who knows? But yes, this is what I believe to be my 100th video, not counting my trailer stuff.
Yay! Bravo!
Yeah, but so for this one, I can't believe that's already. I never thought I'd be making like 100 videos, but and this also happens to be I believe like this. Yeah, definitely the second year of you and I reviewing movies together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was 2013. That was
the big year when we did a whole bunch.
We
of
did
stuff
a whole
together.
bunch, yeah. Before like college really kicked us in the ass.
Yeah.
And then it was 2014. We started off with Iron Man 3, I believe. And now here we are with Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Can you believe it's already been like what is it like? It's 2015. It's already been 3 years since the first movie came out, and like already we're almost done with Phase 2, Marvel Phase 2, with this year's upcoming Ant-Man rounding out the phase.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how far into this we are, and how fast 2015 is passing us by too.
Yeah. I mean, for us, 2015 was always like that magical year that that Back to the Future 2 portrayed. Like, oh boy, can't wait for that distant year where we'll be having hoverboards and flying cars and instant Pizza Hut,
Dressing like weirdos.
and dressing up like, well, actually we kind of do dress up like weirdos now.
That came true.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the internet, you see how people act and dress like, you can't help but go, I'm scared, I'm moving on. But yes, well, enough about 2015. Yes, we are here to talk about the sequel to 2012's The Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon once again, starring Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Hey, what do you know? We got a Hulk actor who actually stayed for more than one movie.
I know, right?
Chris Evans as Captain America, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, James Spader as Ultron, and Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, with Don Cheadle as War Machine, Harry Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver, Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, Paul Bettany as Vision and Jarvis, and so many more.
No, God, I didn't think you were gonna go through the majority of the list, but okay.
Yeah. So what happens in this movie? Well, the Avengers. We start the movie off with them fighting the last remnants of Hydra from the end of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. They introduce Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver as a brother and sister team that were experimented on and given superpowers.
What do they call them in this? Do you remember?
They tease at the end of Captain America: The Winter Soldier as them being miracles. I'm not sure if there's a technical term, but even in the comics, they changed their origins to match the movies, which I think is kind of BS.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, there's... do you really need to go that far to tie in with the movies?
No,
just to get a new... just to get, like, the people who watch the movies to read the comics.
The movies are their own continuity,
Yeah. You can do what you want with the movies, but it's like, why do you gotta, do it in the comics? But that's another issue for another day. So yeah, they're fighting Hydra, and eventually they get the Loki Pokey stick. Sorry, I had to steal that from Kevin Smith. They steal the staff that he used from the first Avengers movie. They find that Infinity Stone that's in there, and Tony and Bruce use that that stone to create a super robot to sell it to help protect the world. That robot being Ultron. Ultron, as soon as he awakens, he's like, hey, you know what? The world's a pretty fucked up place. I'm gonna fix it by killing everyone. And so our plot goes into high gear as the Avengers must team up together once again to stop Ultron from wiping out the human race.
It's funny, isn't that like your typical like computer gone rogue apocalypse scenario?
Yeah,
where like the only possible thing to save the human race, we must just eradicate the human race.
Yeah, it's even with like Terminator being like one of the most popular examples of robot that deems humans as obsolete, and I really like how Ultron, how his logic into that and how he comes to the conclusion that humanity is not worthy of continuing in its existence. How with evolution is always changing, always progressing, whereas humanity they feel like they are good the way they are, and they do not want to progress further as a species, but keep things the same, and thus halting progression of life on Earth. And so it's kind of weird in like this warped sense of way. It's kind of like this logical reasoning for him.
Yeah, he's one that thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like he genuinely believes he's doing the right thing, and it's so funny because he's to me I feel him like he's so human. Like
I love that about when I think Jeremy Johns made this comparison. I think that was him. Where that I also had that feeling too. Where when I saw Ultron in the trailers, I thought he was going to be this very like dark, very brooding type of character where it's like, I am Ultron, I am the greatest, I will defeat you.
Very computer, like a computer, like just spouting out statements, no emotion. Yeah.
Prepare to be terminated.
It's funny because
but no, yeah, you're right. He has this like a ton of personality, a lot of energy.
He's very human.
Yeah, and the fact is, like his personality was somewhat based off of Tony Stark's is just genius.
Yeah.
I just love that line. I know I'm gonna fuck up this line where it's like, it's like
you already fucked it up.
Yeah, I'm already fucking it up. Yeah, I'm not good with being on the spot, which is why I have you here. And where he's like, in that case, allow me to share you my evil plan before attacking the person. Or the part where it's like vibranium, one of the most like valuable resources on the planet, and they used it to make a frisbee.
I know. I like the parts where he's like, did I hurt you? Oh, I'm so sorry. And like, it's like, is he being serious? Is he joking? What's going on? What's he thinking?
He's just being a douchey troll, man. Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. No, not really. I think you should die. Oh boy. And with the entire cast returning, they remain just as amazing and just as entertaining as they were before.
And Hawkeye actually gets some limelight in this as opposed to just being a possessed bastard.
Yeah, and they really do lampoon that in this movie, where it's like, once again, they do the whole mind control thing with Scarlet Witch, and he's like, nuh-uh, not today. Not this time.
They don't like it.
And they do give a reason for him being there. He's kind of like there for, not only is he there for moral support, but he's kind of there to say, hey, I'm the everyman. I kind of look up to you guys, but in a way, I'm here to prove to myself that I'm just as useful as everyone else. And I love that line in the final battle where he's like, fighting robots on a flying city with a bow and arrow.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. My life makes no sense.
Yeah, he's the one that puts himself in the most peril because everyone else has, a robot has technology, they have super strength, they have this, they have that. He's just got a fucking bow and arrow.
Yeah. So which kind of makes him the most badass in a way where it's like, hey,
he's the most at risk.
Yeah, he's the most at risk. It's kind of like what I assume most people like Batman because he has no powers, and thus he comes off as more awesome when he fights, crazy stuff on a daily basis. And for the new characters, with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, I thought they were a really decent addition. I didn't really think they didn't leave as much of an impression as, like, say, The Vision did, which we'll get to later.
I completely agree. Like, they were there, they did their thing, but Like they just didn't leave a big impact in what they did. And I don't know. They were cool though.
Yeah,
I
they're
liked
cool. Yeah, they had their moments. You did not see that coming.
Yeah. I love that. Oh god.
Although it's, I know everyone has already mentioned it, but it's like, yeah, it was kind of weird seeing both actors coming off of Godzilla to play brother and sister. Or no, it's weird to watch Godzilla and then thinking of them as playing brother and sister.
Yeah.
When they're a married couple in Godzilla, but. You know, no, you gotta wonder what was going on with like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen's minds, where it's like, hey, you know, we were just making out and now we're doing this. It's kind of weird, don't you think? It's so weird. But let's see, anything else? Newcomers. Oh, like, yeah, finally Vision. He was basically the same guy who did the voice of Jarvis, and now they kind of he's not technically Jarvis, but he's kind of like not an evolution, but like more like an upgrade Super Jarvis.
Well, I mean. Basically, at this point, Jarvis is like.
He's kind of always been like Iron Man's robot buddy.
But Jarvis has the ability to make decisions for himself. Essentially, he's an AI with free will, if you want to say that.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, like pre-programmed with will and personality. Mm-hmm. But I guess like that whole like being able to make decisions for himself was something that he was always at like the beck and call of Tony Stark.
Exactly.
But now he is given full free will, being like a new type of life form. And for what small time he appeared, because I feel like he would really, they could have established him a little longer. But considering the movie's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I want to say.
I feel like for a majority of the movie, like after he comes out. And then I feel like he disappears for a big chunk of the climax, and then reappears again near the end. And my memory's kind of fuzzy, but
it's been like 2 weeks since we saw the movie.
Yeah,
only now it's our schedule's allowing us to record this.
And keep in mind, we were watching it pretty late, and I was.
We gotta share that. I'm sorry to interrupt this review, but it's like. Normally, whenever we watch a movie, we tend not to have that much difficulty trying to, catch it because not a lot of people go to the AMC theater that we go to.
And by normally, we mean never. We've never had an issue getting into a movie before.
Yeah. We normally check out like the 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. More like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock showings.
And we have done later showings, but pre-planned.
Yeah. Here, where it's like we arrived at the theater and it's like already the 10 o'clock showings are out. All that's left is 12 o'clock. And we were like, well, shit.
And I remember that. I don't know if I asked you this, but I remember thinking in my head, we should probably get there early and get the tickets soon. Because my boss is telling me, it's probably going to be sold out before you even get there. And I was like, oh, God.
But, yeah, so I was me being like, the guy who sleeps early in order to, make it to my morning shifts. I was already kind of I was struggling to keep awake for that. But I don't know, luckily those 5-hour energies really help.
Oh, they don't do anything. That's a whole different topic. I took a 5-hour energy the other day. Did absolutely nothing for me. That shit's a placebo. Fuck that shit. That's stupid.
Well, anyways, back to the movie. For the returning cast now, I gotta say, with the first movie, it was basically the first movie treated these characters as already being established, and they didn't really do much with them in terms of character progression, but rather focused on their chemistry and them interacting and them forming as a team. Now with this sequel, they try to do a bit more character development with them
amongst each other.
Yeah, amongst each other, and especially they also do a lot of hinting at future storylines, but kind of subtly in a way.
I think the villain that helped get the vibranium, isn't he one of what's his name?
The one that played by Andy Serkis.
I think so. The one that gets his arm ripped off. Yeah.
He was a villain for Black Panther.
Yeah,
and they mentioned
in the future or in the coming. I think in the coming movie. I
believe so. Yeah, and they did. They went to Wakanda, which is where Black Panther is stationed. And they mentioned Thor Ragnarok. With Thor, he receives like visions of kind of like this apocalyptic vision where his home of Asgard is like gone to ruins. We have what I really liked was the as great as Captain America and Iron Man make as a team, their philosophies on how to protect the world
very different.
Yeah, very different. Where it's like Captain America, he wants to fight the bad guys as soon as they show up. Iron Man wants to prevent the bad guys from even showing up at all, at the cost of some freedoms. As he mentioned in the movie, he wants to make a iron suit to encapsulate the world, metaphorically.
And he basically wants to put the Avengers out of commission and put, his robots at work, essentially.
Yeah. Whereas with Captain America, he's a soldier. He lives to do this stuff. I mean, at this point, being a man out of time, this is really the only thing he can do, or this is the only thing that makes and the only thing that he feels most comfortable with. And the really thing that really surprised me was the subplot involving Black Widow and Bruce Banner. Yeah, it's kind of weird where it's like, I never assumed that they would do that.
They're going for a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, these characters have almost, as far as I know, have nothing to do with each other in the comics. They've never interacted in any real way.
Not just that, but even throughout the movies, I don't remember a connection between Bruce Banner and Black Widow.
Yeah, and so it comes out of nowhere here, but however, it's kind of strangely works, where it's like, okay, in this cinematic universe, I can sort of get it, and they do give their reasons for why these are two people who, in a way, understand or actually, at least like Black Widow, she understands in a way, sort of, where the Hulk comes from, being someone who was trained to be a monster herself, of being an assassin and having her life taken away from her at birth, whereas Bruce always had dealt with like major daddy issues. I'm not sure if they ever established that in this continuity, but in like generally in most continuities, he's always had like a very abusive father.
See, now what scares me is what crazy fan fictions people are gonna write about these two and make. That's the scary part.
Well, the thing is, the Bruce Banner, he can't really, get it on without, unleashing the beast, as established in The Incredible Hulk 2008.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, it was kind of weird getting used to, but, it was compelling enough that I actually, did care. And
at least it wasn't shoved in our faces like 24/7.
Right. I mean, especially when we had other subplots to, like, switch around with. But I guess that's kind of like my biggest, no, not my biggest, that's kind of like one of my pet peeves with the movie is that I get why they need to have these different subplots, having this many characters. But a lot of people did complain that there's too much story in this film. I personally disagree. I think that there was an adequate amount of story. I just wish that there was more a slightly longer runtime to better accommodate these subplots.
Now, something I used to think was, with Avengers 1, I felt like Captain America wasn't really put in a leadership role. And initially, after I saw Avengers 2, I felt like he still didn't manage to encompass, the role of leader and leading the Avengers, being the one, to give orders and whatnot. And while he does it, I felt like he wasn't the number one guy. I don't know, but I later on I started hearing people say, well, it shouldn't work that way. I mean, these are all very powerful people with very powerful personalities. There shouldn't be just one solid leader telling what people are to do. So like I said, initially I felt that was a bad thing. That there's still little, like Captain America still commands little to no authority between the Avengers, but in reality, it kind of makes sense. Again, they're all very powerful personalities. One's a god. One's it's just stuff like that. Why would they just listen to just one person?
That's true, and I guess when it comes to leadership, it really Captain America's there for more like he's more the strategist.
Yeah,
being that he is a veteran soldier of war. But with here, it's like the personalities definitely clash, especially in this movie with the whole philosophical differences between him and Iron Man, and I guess it just leads to more interesting character dynamics between those two.
So yeah, in that aspect, now I'm kind of glad that they don't lead towards Captain America being like the sole leader or like really taking charge, because like I said, it makes sense. Like if you look at it from that perspective, it really makes sense. These are, like I said, all very, very powerful people.
Yeah. I guess so I mentioned that the subplots being one of my pet peeves, but the biggest problem I've had with the movie was that it structurally, the movie feels a bit too much like the first Avengers movie, where it's like we got the big scene where they all meet up and kick some ass. There's the scene with the Hulk, getting angry, going out of control, and having one Avenger fight him. There's the part where they're all sad and down on their luck. Then there's the part where they get a pep talk. Then there's the part where they go fight a bunch of like faceless bad guys. You have the generic Chitauri in the first movie, and then you have a bunch of robots in the second.
where they stop the bad guy, but oh wait, you didn't stop him for reals, and then you get the real climax.
Yeah, so in a way it feels too much like it. And so yeah, that's my biggest problem. What would be like the biggest issue with you? Or for you?
I'd agree with you on that. I told you it's funny because when we first left the theater, I remember telling you I feel like the situation they were in didn't feel as grand scale as it did in the first movie, and then you mentioned that the whole plan was to destroy the world with a whole crater. I just feel like it wasn't how you say it, like I'm sure things were put on the table. Like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. But I don't know. To me, I didn't feel like it was as big of a deal as it was with Avengers 1 myself. It's hard to put to words what I'm trying to describe.
You didn't feel like the stakes were raised high enough?
Yeah, and like that's what I'm trying to say. Well, in the movie, it's clear what would have happened if it had gone through. It'd be the destruction of the world. But I feel like Avengers 1 kind of like did that a little bit better. I don't know.
I see. And so I'm probably going to forget something afterwards, but is there anything else you want to talk about before going into final thoughts?
How about the paper mache robots that will fall apart at any fucking thing?
Oh yeah, it's like they kind of make a big deal how Ultron's body and all the robots were made out of vibranium, and yet they kind of went fall apart rather quickly. Well, and I think kind of like, well, I don't know. I guess it's sort of the thing where when you have a big army, it's kind of like that cliche where you're able to wipe through all of them when you have so many enemies in that large number.
No, but I think it was only Ultron. I want to say Ultraman for a quick second there. I think it was only Ultron. I think he
kind of looks like a robot.
I think he was the only one that got vibranium, or did all his minions get it too?
I
at this point I don't quite remember. But I don't know. I love James Spader in that. He's great. Fantastic.
Oh, he's amazing. I can't praise him enough. Also, the thing is with Ultron's body, like I feel like it was a bit too early, or not too early, but there wasn't build up to his not his final body, but kind of like he had that his initial appearance. He kind of took
shambles.
He took this Iron Legion robot that was all busted up, and he used as like a temporary body. And as soon as he, that body's destroyed, the next time you see him, poof, he's already in this, big 8-9 foot tall robot, body with no real like not build up, but it's like there should have been like a scene showing at least the construction of that body. And
it's funny because I remember asking you like, did I miss something in that?
Yeah.
Because during that time I was almost passing out because I was so tired. And all of a sudden I went from seeing Ultron, in his in his shaky shambly form into like the full body. I'm like, did I miss something? What's going on here? I don't know.
Yeah, like as soon as Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver show up at his laboratory, he's like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, don't mind me. I may be a big scary robot man, but it's all right."
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else I want to say? Before I just want to say with the Hulkbuster versus Hulk scene.
God, that was great. Oh my god! There was so much fucking destruction. God damn! I don't want to know how many fucking people died in that shit.
Although, what's funny enough, we actually saw Iron Man attempt to move the battle out of the city.
Yes. And I actually love the fact that we get to hear him calling for his relief fund to be put into effect. Boom, get this started right now. I don't think we normally see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you think Joss Whedon may have like influenced that scene in response to Man of Steel?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It was like Iron Man 3 was in 2013, the same year as Man of Steel, and then there was Thor, and then there was Captain America the next year, and then there was Guardians of the Galaxy, and then this movie. So this movie was made. They started production on this movie, I believe, after Man of Steel.
There's a chance, honestly. I mean, you compare the destruction that happened there, and I think.
And the thing is like, hey, let's go to like the most desolate building and throw the Hulk there.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was looking for like a building that was still under construction, right?
Yeah, still under construction.
So I mean, that's what a hero would do, right? I mean, that's literally what a hero would do. So I mean,
I mean, I personally, I don't blame. I'm not kind of the person who really had a problem with the final battle of Man of Steel. I mean, sure, yeah, he did cause a lot of destruction, but first off, he's this is his first time really being a superhero, and then General Zod is the one kind of influencing that, and even if Superman tried to pull a Goku and try to take the battle elsewhere, Zod would be like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna kill these."
Here's the thing: Zod wouldn't give two shits and would do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
The Hulk would follow Iron Man and try to tear him apart.
Yeah,
that's part of a thing,
But the thing is, it's like. That's the funny thing, like, even like my mom would always be like, why do they gotta fight here? Can't they take the battle somewhere else? Why do they always gotta cause so much? These superheroes always gotta cause a lot of destruction. Well, it's because it's cool.
I know, right? Who wants to see a fight in the middle of the desert with no crashes, no buildings falling down? Such a great fight. Who wants to see that? Raise your hand.
Only unless you're like Dragon Ball Z and you're shooting like goddamn like building-sized lasers out of your hands.
And making fucking stone, like fucking pillars, mountains fall. Psh. Yeah, that's the only time I'd want to see that.
Yeah. But anyways, I thought that fight was executed brilliantly, and the way they handled the destruction was really cool, especially when they did dealt with the consequences of that fight, and it looks like that fight is what's going to lead into a civil war, Captain America Civil War, and possibly whatever the hell they're going to do with the Hulk if they ever give him another movie.
I know, right? Like I feel like he's been like he's been shafted. We're not. I don't know if we're ever going to get another movie like solely focusing on the Hulk himself. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be weird.
I mean, people have been talking about Planet Hulk, Planet Hulk movie, or a movie adapted from the Planet Hulk comic book storyline. Are you familiar with that one?
No, I haven't. I've never been a big fan of the Hulk myself. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like wanting another Hulk movie, I'm not in particularly asking for one, or like I wouldn't be sad or happy either way whether they did make another movie myself. Mm-hmm. But with the ending of Avengers 2, it does lead you to you ask the question, what's going to happen with Hulk?
Yeah, true. So anyways, we're nearing the 30-minute mark, so let's get into final thoughts here now that we got a lot of our fanboy fangasms, little complaints out of the way, nitpicks out of the way. So, your final thoughts.
I thought it was a great movie. It's the summer block. Well, it's not summer yet, but
here it's summer.
I know, right? Yeah, it's a summer block.
Well, for me anyway, school is out for me. For some schools like mine.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch it, what's wrong with you? I mean, this is a great movie. It's a great time.
If you do not like this movie, you have no soul. No, just kidding.
Again, like
maybe
you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. I mean, unless you really do not like superhero movies. I mean, this is a collection of superhero movies into one. It's a great experience. It's great to watch. Mm-hmm. I'd probably I'd go out and buy it when it comes out. This is like this series is something I'd want to eventually have a collection of that I can show in the future. Yeah. This is what I experienced. This was comic book movies during my prime. Yeah. So I mean, again, this is a great movie, and I think people should go out and watch it.
And your final rating?
I'd say 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, how about you?
Let's see. For me, I absolutely love the movie. I feel like the biggest problem was that it feels too much like the first one. I really appreciate that they give each of these characters more time to develop as characters and not just big old set pieces like that do nothing but destroy cities. Although the fact that that whole action sequences are great, special effects great, directing is great, dialogue is truly memorable. James Spader is fantastic as Ultron.
Steals the show.
He steals the show. I'm glad we finally got another memorable villain that's not Loki.
Right? Oh god, yeah.
Remember was it Ronan the Accuser from
Ronan the Accuser from Guardians. Then there was the
Malachite, Dark Elf, yeah, the Ninth Doctor himself, Christopher Eccleston, wasted.
Yeah, what other villains have there been?
The Mandarin.
The Mandarin. Just lackluster villains, not memorable. James Spader, awesome. And, the question remains, will we see Ultron again?
Possibly. I mean, in a comic book type of setting, villains never truly die. But, we'll see. So anyways, I highly recommend you check out this movie. I'm giving it a good a solid 4 out of 5. I mean, I gave the first one a 5 out of 5, but I feel like with the first one, it had an easier job than with the second one.
Yeah.
The easier job was like, let's bring them together and show what it looks like for them to be together. Here, let's try something more ambitious, and it almost succeeds. But I feel like it just needed either a longer running time to just like flesh things out more, and the fact that it felt too much like the first one.
Would you consider this could you see this as Avengers 1.5 as opposed to Avengers 2?
No, I do see this as Avengers 2. However, I feel like considering how many people they're going to have for Civil War, I think that's good. That's going to be 2.5.
That's going to be great. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so that was our first theatrical movie review for 2015. I have been Andres Perez, a.k.a. KaijuNoir.
And I'm Pete.
And you can be sure to check me out on Zazbar's channel on the Sons of Sarazawa podcast. You can check me out on my own podcast, Shoe Watch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go. You can check us out at the SOS Network homepage on Facebook, our Facebook group Toho Nation, and for more content. So, anyways, that has been our review. So until next time, everybody, take care.